Hi everyone, welcome to Miss Adams Teaches English Language and Literature A-Level. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the different texts from the Voices in Speech and Writing Anthology and which ones have come up recently in the last few years of exams and in the specimen papers. I'm going to give you a little list of all of the things that haven't come up yet and a bit of guidance on how you might prepare with them. This isn't a video about predictions, it's just a video showing you what has come up and just looking at the way that the exam board tends to pair up the parrot text with unseens, just to give you a bit of a steer for your revision. For now, let's get started. Okay, let's have a little look at what has come up so far. So on this, just having a little look at the A-level paper itself, not the AS tasks, although I will have one amendment to that in a moment. So most recently, we've had the tsunami reportage, the Chris Rainier piece from the National Geographic. What's interesting there is that that's actually then repeating the specimen paper. So you can see again in Edexcel's requirement to not be predictable. They're not just churning their way through. They are going to repeat the odd bit. And that reportage came with an interview about another natural disaster. So then it was focusing on natural disasters. The year before was the dreaded Red Rice autobiography, the Maya Angelou. And that was paired with an article, but an article that was based on an interview of Nigel Slater and how his book Toast was being turned into a play. So multimodal craziness. But again, look at that. Maya Angelou, Red Rice. I'm sorry, I've called one Red Rice and one Maya Angelou. You know what I mean. It's been repeated there again. In the sample, it was paired with a speech by Nelson Mandela. We've had the Birrell article and the Brooker article, okay, both of those compared with different modes, different genres. So we've had a diary entry that was published in The Guardian, so it was published in a newspaper, but it was a diary entry format, and a blog. We've also had the Boxer Hanson review. Now that one was interesting because the comparison was with an article about Muhammad Ali, and so the question was focusing on experiences of boxing rather than the book. So that's quite an interesting one. Paul Theroux came up in the first year of the A-level, and again, interestingly, it was paired with an article that was about, like the writer of the article had spent time in Paris with Samuel Beckett, so it was about that experience. So the content of the task was not about what Paris was like, it was about their experiences of Beckett. So it gives you a bit of an interesting kind of bit of guidance on how they marry texts up, and what you're largely seeing is that they're choosing content that is similar in terms of topic, but choosing different forms, different modes or genres, which is quite nice because it means you get to show a little bit of variation, like in your introductions about the different genre, audience and purpose. I said that I wasn't going to talk about what's come up in the AS, but that's with one exception, because obviously there are candidates that are sitting the AS paper in year 12 and then carrying on and then sitting the A-level. So it is unlikely, and again, note I say unlikely, not definite, it is unlikely that the section B text from the AS is going to be repeated, because then you'll have a whole cohort that would have written on the same piece for AS and A2. So it's unlikely, but again, who knows what Edexcel might do. But you'll be interested to know that the AS paper last year was on Charlie Brooker. So it's unlikely that Brooker will be appearing. He's already come up as an A-level text, and now he has just been the most recent AS. They may still do this one though, because this one in the AS, for those of you studying A-level that don't sit the AS, that's what we do in my school, we don't actually sit the AS, there's like a recreative task, just like you do for your coursework in A2. So it's a totally different skill set. So the fact that the Jay Leno interview has come up as the creative on the AS doesn't rule it out. It is, again, unlikely. I'm not doing predictions, yeah? I just want to show you what hasn't come up in any way, shape or form. And that is these following texts, okay? These are the ones that we have not yet seen. There are a number of them, do you know what I mean? So there's no point in trying to predict. It's just be aware that these ones haven't come out. And like I said, you know, don't assume that everything else is done and dusted. You need to have a working knowledge of everything. But particularly if there are any in this area that you're feeling a bit weak on, make sure that you get some decent revision in. By the by, there are videos for every single one of these texts, so that take you through genre, audience, purpose, context, and then like a load of key areas on my channel. So do have a little look at that playlist if you want a bit of extra help. Now, what I would be doing if I was you is I would be, as well as watching my videos, I would also be practicing, okay? So the question that you're going to get is always going to look a little bit like this, yeah? Compare the ways in which the writers create a sense of voice as they reflect upon, boom. Now, you can do something really generic. You make up your own questions for each of those texts that haven't come up and just say, as they reflect upon their experiences, yeah, and then you're leaving it nice and broad. But for example, let's imagine that you were preparing you were practicing writing on Peru, yeah, when I lived in Peru, and you'd found yourself a nice blog that you know, talks about what to do when you get made redundant, yeah. You might say, compare the ways in which the writers create a sense of voice as they reflect upon redundancy. So do you know what I mean? You can put the actual kind of topic in, but if you can't think of what that should be, just say experiences. And what I would do is I would think about actually finding yourself some texts that you can practice on. Go onto the Edexcel website, okay, and actually get the past papers, get the AS papers as well, and use the text, the unseens, and just pair them up, yeah? Just, it doesn't matter, even if they're a little bit off the wall, but just get yourself some practice in writing comparatively. I have done a little video for you on how to compare the text and how to talk about voice, so do have a look at that should you wish. It's all in the playlist for the Voices in Speech and Writing Anthology. I think that's it from me. I think I've said everything I wanted to. Give me a shout if you've got any questions. Just pop them in the comments and I will get back to you. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Happy revising.